Yeah, I think that's when it really started. When life really started hitting me in the face. Went through like a bad breakup, and basketball wasn't going well.
Mm-hmm.
I was seeing my patterns with my friends, not taking care of my body, not taking care of myself, and I realized, like, man, if I don't do this, no one else is going to do it, and I'm just going to end up. There's no way, no telling where I'll end up. So I didn't really have an awakening until really like the end of my. I had already finished playing basketball. I still had one more semester of school left,
Yeah.
and it was near graduation where things started to shift. I had friends taking me to Bible studies, and I had all sorts of questions, and that part of my spiritual journey had started, um, which led me to come out. Well, led continued as I came out here initially, and what a lot of people knew about me those first, let's say, 7, 8 years was I was very vocal about being a Christian, and that was
Mm-hmm.
uh, in that time of my life. It was huge. It was a huge part of my growth as a man, my spiritual journey, and as life went on, that it shifted for me. So, not seeing myself as a Christian, but seeing myself as a spiritual person who's on a journey, and believing in God, but just from a different standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
um, for the last several years. And it all, the whole progression really just, it just comes from going within myself, and facing the things that I was afraid to face in high school, in college, and even the first several years of being out here, and taking time to dissect, even when it doesn't feel good, even when I may want to cry, I may want scream or angry, whatever is going on, and it took a lot of time. It took a lot of patience with myself, and it is still taking a lot of self love and a lot of compassion, a lot of forgiveness for myself and for others. And I think it's just an ongoing journey, but the start of it definitely was taking my spiritual journey serious. And I say I encourage that for anyone who might be dealing with stuff, or whether it be traumas or hurts and pains from a relationship, to seek the spiritual end. Go within and speak the spirit, seeks the spiritual side of yourself. And I'm not saying that from any specific spiritual background. Whatever you want to believe, if it helps you grow and become a better person, then by all means. But I think it's very important, because we get so caught up, especially now with Instagram and
Yeah.
Facebook and all the social media. We get so caught up in what we see externally, what other people are doing, what other people are, have, or whatever, be it a relationship, be it car, materialist, whatever is going on. And it's easy to get caught up in thinking that that's, attaching ourselves and our desires and our identities to that, when it should, I don't want to say should, but the true wealth and the true success and healing and everything comes from yourself. So, and like I said, it's a continuing journey. It's an everyday intentional, conscious effort to just grow and be better as much as I can every day. So, yeah,
Yeah, that I agree with that. And yeah, the spiritual aspect, sometimes you could take it for granted, but then when you actually feel like it's advantages and benefits to you, and you feel like what it's really meant to be, you will know, you will realize that it's important in the life of a person. Like it's not only mental, physical, and everything; it's also spiritual. So that's great to hear from you as a person to share it to the audience and to me and people tuning into this podcast. But then how about the resiliency part of it? Was it, you mentioned like your coaches and the people that convinced you to try the Bible study? Were there other people that you saw as an inspiration in terms of resiliency? And because of that mindset is kind of difficult to possess. Like when you, maybe when people experience the stuff that you went through, maybe they'd already be depressed or they'd be sad long term. like they won't have the mindset to bounce back or come back with a stronger mindset. So for you, how was that process like?
Yeah. I I believe it's important to look for real examples in your life of people who are resilient and to really think about it. Think about people's journeys and what they've been through to get to where they are. And when I say real examples, for me, um, my mom
Mm-hmm.
and my sister and my brother are my big three in resiliency and knowing the things that my mom had to go through. Imagine she, losing a husband when she has three small kids to feed and bring up by herself in a country that's not her home.
Mm-hmm.
To see my sister, a mother of six, a single
Wow.
mother of six,
Yeah.
and seeing her work a full-time job while getting her college degree, while starting a business and succeeding in it and keeping her kids fed and clothed and actually parenting them, having relationships with them. My brother, who's 2 years older than me, who's autistic, and so I always felt like the bigger brother. To see him do the things that he's done, he's had jobs, he drives, he's independent. He does all these things to see things from his world and do the things that he's done. I felt like, and I feel like I have no excuse to sit down and feel sorry for myself when, you know, life is life, when things go bad. I went through a divorce. My kids haven't lived with me for the past 6 years. Having all these excuses, there are no excuses for me. And so when I talk about real examples, that's what I mean. So I think that's step one. To if you're in a tough place, because you can easily say, hey, there's kids in Africa who aren't eating, or there's
Mm-hmm.
people here who don't have money. Yeah, that's easy to say, but I have no connection to that. And that's just the honest truth. And I think that's what most people will say. Like, yeah, there's somebody in a worse off situation, but I don't know them. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure you know some people who have gone through some things, and they can be part of that journey of having understanding, putting things in perspective. And so I'm to the point now where I've been at the point now where I just leave no excuses for myself. And when things happen, now my mentality is, well, what can I learn about myself? What's being triggered in myself? How can I change the situation? What can I control? And if there's things that I can't control, then I'll focus on the things that I can control. And a lot of it usually is just my own self and my response and my mentality and my perspective. Um, because life's not going to let up. And if we leave ourselves space to have excuses for why we're not getting to where we want to be, then we lose. And I don't think anyone wants to lose, but a lot of times we feel stuck. And the reality is, if we just control the things that we can control and take our minds off of the things that we can't, we'll be in a much better position to move forward.